Hello gamers! How's everybody doing? My name is Offbeat Outlaw. Welcome back to Power Build. It's been so long. I'm drinking orange juice. It's like midnight. I'm drinking orange juice. What is wrong with me? Anyway, hello everybody. Anyway, today I've got something really special as usual. I have a power build, and if you've seen the title, yes, I am going to be maximizing the amount of damage you can deal with Fireball. It's gonna be so fun. Important things about this build. It's not good. I said it. It's not a good build, but it is funny. And sometimes we gotta just do things because they're a good title, they're a good thumbnail, and God is my witness, it's pretty funny. We can get into the build, but before that, I'd like to get a word from our sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Joyfurience. Joyfurience is a company that has a Kickstarter, and guess what they're selling? A module for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Let's get into what it is. In this new Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition module, you can expect a lovely rich world of hell. You know, that place that's full of fire and scary. And your player character is trapped in hell itself, a prisoner in hell itself. And your duty as a person trapped in hell is, well, to escape. I guess death isn't the end after all. I mean, if your cleric was stupid enough to let you die in the first place, you probably deserve hell. Anyway, prison works on a tight and strict schedule, and should you desire escaping at all, you're gonna need to figure that schedule out, figure out your timing, and get out of there. There's already some beautiful artwork that has been created for this lovely adventure module. I hope you will enjoy this module as much as I am hoping to. It is looking to be an incredible Kickstarter. It's still in its early stages, so a lot of the artwork isn't final, but here is some final art that has already been made. It looks awesome. Anyway, thank you once again to Joyfurience for sponsoring this video. Link in the description if you'd like to support the Kickstarter and me in the process. Thank you. So, the main thing about this build is quite obviously it's going to be a variant human. This is important. A cleric 13, a fighter 2, and a sorcerer 5. This is all important so that we can get a bunch of features needed in order to maximize the damage that we are dealing with, in this case, 2 fireballs. It is going to be quite the spectacular show. So, with Fireball, there comes a few things that you need to know about Fireball as a spell. One, as a spell, it consumes a 3rd level spell slot. This means that in order to cast the spell, you must expend a spell slot of 3rd level or higher. And in order to learn this spell, you need to be able to get those slots from the class. In order to get Fireball, we are going to need to be at least 5 levels in Wizard or Sorcerer or one of the other classes. In this case, we've chosen Sorcerer. The subclass of Sorcerer is not necessary for this. In this particular case, I have chosen the Clockwork Soul Sorcerer simply because it can provide a lot more spell options if you want to play this in an actual campaign, and I like its class features. Restore Balance being a really good one, for example. When a creature you can see within 60 feet of you is about to roll a d20 with advantage or disadvantage, you can use your reaction to prevent the roll from being affected by advantage or disadvantage. These features are kind of just for fun for our purposes. We're not trying to use those. We're trying to maximize Fireball. The main thing we get with the Sorcerer is at 5th level, we get Fireball. As you can tell, is the only spell I've taken for the Sorcerer so far. Look at that. Fireball. Dex save 18. Get fucked. What's that? Utility spells. No, I'm afraid I don't know what those are. Anyway, yes, just Fireball, only Fireball, just Fireball. On top of that, we're going to be using something else from the Sorcerer, and that is the particular Magic Transmuted spell. When you cast a spell that deals a type of damage from the following list, you can expend 1 sorcery point to change that damage type to another of one of the listed types. Acid, Cold, Fire, Lightning, Poison, Thunder. We are going to be transmuting Fireball from fire damage to lightning damage. And the exact reason why will explain itself right now. Our cleric subclass is the Tempest domain, and the Tempest domain gets a particular channel divinity, Destructive Wrath. Starting at 2nd level, you can use your channel divinity to wield the power of the storm with unchecked ferocity. When you roll lightning or thunder damage, you can use your channel divinity to deal maximum damage instead of rolling. This is a mediocre class feature. But it's so sick. It's so cool. Oh my god. There is nothing more satisfying than say, actually, that deals max damage. And then just like multiplying the number of the dice by the number of the maximum roll. It's so cool. It's so cool. It's on average only a 1.7 times multiplier to your damage, but it's cool. Anyway, Destructive Wrath is awesome. I love it. I love this ability so much. We're going to be using this twice because we get 2 of those at the level that we're at. And now we need one more spell. Now, this has given us already a lot of spells, but the particular spell we want is this one right here. Hollow. Hallow is a long spell. And now I'm going to be entirely honest. It's a little impractical. It's actually quite impractical to set this up. Yeah, it is. It is. I'm not going to deny that. This is a very impractical setup to do in-game. However, I don't care. I just wanted to see what would happen if you did. Basically, Hallow, the reason why it's so impractical to set up is its casting time is 24 hours and it requires 1,000 GP worth of incense, which the spell consumes. But the effect you can set up is awesome. There's a bunch of other stuff. The Fays and Fiends and Undead and whatnot cannot enter the area. But energy vulnerability is amazing. Affected creatures in the area have vulnerability to one type of damage of your choice except for bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing. We can choose lightning damage, which we are going to be transmuting our fireballs to. And here's where I think this build is cool. See, as a player character, this isn't very cool. Hallow is a completely impractical spell to use offensively in any sort of capacity as a player character. You can use it defensively, but definitely not practically offensively. However, as a dungeon master, you're almost always on the defensive. Player characters are storming your dungeons, your temples, your castles. What if they were hallowed? This is a great spell to use to fuck with some player characters. This PC that I'm about to show you can absolutely destroy a party if they are unprepared for the reckoning that they are about to walk in on. This build is going to require your party that you are DMing for to play very precisely, and if they don't, they are going to get punished. And here's why. The energy and vulnerability only lands if they fail a charisma save DC 18. A lot of characters have good charisma saves, but if there's not a paladin in the party, you're gonna get a few of them. To those that aren't affected by it, or if you don't set up the Hallow spell, either way, here's how this is gonna work. First thing that happens, the enemies enter the room. Here is what he looks like for those who need inspiration. Look at this Giga Chad. This is a Sigma male. Dude, this guy is on his Sigma grind set daily. This guy does not stop on this Sigma grind. Look at him go. Look at this Sigma. This guy's like, yeah, my fireball deals lightning damage. Get fucked. He looks like Lightning Jesus. He's come to kick the shit out of you and die for your sins. But anyway, Lightning Jesus is here, and he's here to absolutely destroy you. What happens? They walk in. They are affected by the Hallow. The entire party, let's say you get lucky, go all the way down and find 9th level Fireball. 14d6. You cast the spell. And for those who don't know what Fireball does, a bright streak flashes from your pointed finger to a point you choose within range, and then blossoms with a low roar into an explosion of flame. Each creature in a 20-foot radius sphere centered on that point must make a dexterity saving throw. A target takes 8d6 fire damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful. The fire spreads around corners. It ignites flammable objects in the area that aren't being worn or carried. Now, here's what you do. You use a single meta magic point, a single sorcery point, and change the damage from fire to lightning. Now you are dealing 14d6 lightning damage. And when that damage is rolled, you are going to use your Channel Divinity Destructive Wrath. That lightning damage now hits for maximum damage, dealing a total of 84 lightning damage to everybody in that radius. And that's not all. There's another fireball coming. As you can see, we are 2 levels of fighter. And Action Search does permit you, it does allow you to cast 2 leveled spells in a turn. Now I can already smell my comment sections from here, so let me just make this very clear for you. The rule you are about to quote at me, the leveled spell rule, it specifically prohibits the casting of bonus action spells. Let me read it to you, because apparently y'all are gonna read it to me. I feel like I should at least get my chance. Bonus action. A spell cast with a bonus action is especially swift. You must use a bonus action on your turn to cast the spell, provided you haven't already taken a bonus action this turn. You can't cast another spell during the same turn except for a cantrip with a casting time of 1 action. This specifically prohibits you from casting a bonus action spell and then another spell as an action. That's all it prohibits. I've read this rule raw, I've read the Sage advice, I've read Jeremy Crawford's Twitter, all of which agree with me. None agree with you guys. You are more than welcome to play your games like that, but on this channel, we play the rules as written, and that's what the rules say. Good day. So, now that we've been over that, you Destructive Wrath them, Action Surge, cast another spell, an 8th level Fireball. This is going to deal an additional 78 damage. 78 plus 84, that's 162 damage, turn 1. And now, this is where the Hallow kicks in. Hallow, if you can't remember from 5 minutes ago, will make everybody who was affected by it vulnerable to lightning damage. That 162 is now doubled to 324 damage. That's a lot. For 2 fireballs to do more damage than 2 meteor swarms? That's pretty insane if you ask me. This is an incredibly potent tactic. Without the Hallow, this tactic still works entirely. You can still do the double casting of Fireball as lightning damage to deal 162 lightning damage. And you can also make it thunder damage if you want, because Destructive Wrath works with both lightning and thunder damage. And with that, I'm pretty sure, I'm about 90% sure, this is the most optimized Fireball you can possibly have. Now, I should probably rate this build as a whole. I would give this build, personally, a 7 out of 10. It's not terrible. It has okay hit points. It does what it needs to do. It lands those fireballs. It's gonna deal a pretty solid amount of damage. It's got some good healing if you want to pick those spells. Its armor class is pretty shit. But you know what? I wanted to optimize Fireball. And by God, I did. So if you've ever wanted to scream for the Fireball at the top of your lungs at your table, be sure to take up this build. And if you would like a copy of the PDF character sheet so that you can print it out and use in your games, be sure to check out my Patreon. All of my characters that I've made are up there on my Patreon as PDFs. So please, if you want to support the channel, please go and check that out. All my videos are also uploaded 24 hours early to my Patreon. Thank you all so much for watching. It's nice to finally be back. Get ready for more content coming soon. It's gonna be one hell of a year. I've got a lot of really fun stuff planned for everybody. I absolutely cannot wait. Get the fuck out of my house.